Welcome friends to another Wheel of Time video. Today we will examine the Aiel War. What started it? How far did their invasion get? Who opposed them? Spoilers for the books throughout. Let's get straight into it. We start at the breaking of the world, when male Aes Sedai, driven mad by the Dark One, tainting their half of the One Power, use their channeling to destroy the world, as the taint has driven them mad. As the Aiel wandered the wastes, they were helped by a tribe that would become the nation Caerhyen. They gave the Aiel water, and this was the first time since the breaking the Aiel had met a group of people who did not try to attack or cheat them. Later this debt is repaid when they give the people of Caerhyen a chora tree, a living construct made in the Age of Legends that gives off a sense of peace. It was called Avendoraldera, and the Aiel also gave them free passage through the Aiel Waste they called home, which few others had. This bond stood for 400 years, until the then king of Caerhyen, Laman Damodred, found his position on the throne difficult as rival families were trying to seize it from him. As part of an effort to show what a great king he was, he cut down the tree Avendoraldera to make a throne that would have no equal in his eyes. The king did not know its history. To the Aiel, the tree was a great gift. The sapling they had taken was from the Tree of Life, Avendesora, the last chora tree created in the Age of Legends. Fury spread through the Aiel, and 4 clans launched an invasion of Caerhyen, with the objective only of killing the king who had cut down the tree. It was thought their attack was a campaign against all of the Westlands, and they would need to unite their forces to fight this. The king of Caerhyen, Laman, was defeated at the first battle, and his capital was burnt to the ground. So he retreated to Tyr and then Andor, both of whom had given forces to the war. The alliance had around 170,000 troops. The Aiel numbered around 80,000. 2 wanted to lead the alliance forces: Lord Aglomar Jagad of Falderand and King Laman Damodred, whose own kingdom had suffered the most. This bickering led to command being rotated between the commanders of the armies. The Aiel had been given one leader, Janduin, chief of the Tardad Aiel. He was given full authority. The fight was called the Battle of the Shining Walls, and was fought outside the walls of Tar Valon, where the Aes Sedai resided. The Alliance forces in the first 2 days of the fight are deployed to defend from any direction potentially, but they stopped them bringing their numbers to bear at any one single place. They were spread too thin. They also faced a fight on 2 fronts. They had to defend the city and try and rout the Aiel. An issue for the commanders was they did not know the objective of the Aiel's attack. Was it to take their land, enslave them, sacrifice them to some dark god? They thought the Aiel wanted to ransack Tar Valon, but they wanted one man, Laman. So it ended with a bloodbath and great numbers of dead on either side. The Aiel forces managed to hold their own. This ended on the 3rd day, when they killed Lord Captain Aranvor Naldwin, commander of the Andoran contingent. It caused great confusion within the alliance, as they needed to pick a replacement and bickered over this. The Aiel took this opportunity. They saw Laman's standard and went for it. He lost his head, and his sword was taken as a symbol of victory. They withdrew with great organisation over the river at night to hide their movements, and retreated back to the Aiel wastes. The alliance was shocked, with no tactical reason they could see for the retreat. In their arrogance, the alliance thought the Aiel had seen victory over them was not possible, and so organised a pursuit of mounted men as quickly as they could. The Aiel fought several rearguard actions, stopping the alliance catching the main host. Then the forces of the Aiel 20 days after the death of Layman Damodred, reached King Slayer's dagger and disappeared into the mountains and then to their home, the Wastes. The Alliance believed they had fought them off and made them retreat, but over time a link was seen between the death of Layman and the timing of the retreat. Due to the humiliation heaped on the Westland forces, the commanders didn't want the reason known to the general populace, so the great victory was the story given. The armies were called back to their homelands and the temporary alliance faded. Janduin, the leader of the Aiel forces, had fulfilled his objective, but could take no pleasure in it, as Shael, his lover, who was pregnant with his child, was presumed dead after the battle. In his grief, he renounced his position as clan chief and walked into the Blight, hoping to lose his life to the forces of the shadow that lived there. It was later rumoured that Janduin had found the death he wanted, but from someone who looked like Shael, who he could not raise his spear against. The Cahayan noble houses, seeing what Laman's pride had cost them, deposed House Damodred off the Sun Throne, and for the Aiel it left them with a bad reputation. They will be seen as barbarians, and there is still bad blood to this day, with the Cahayan being called tree killers by the Aiel. Now friends, I turn this over to you. What do you think to how the war went? Could the Aiel have taken more if that was what their wish was? Have you been given passage through the Aiel wastes? Comment down below.